Trying to save some souls today.
Take it back to the before unity.
I know. Thank you, Carol. Oh my gosh, how nice to be singing with you again. Yeah. Carol was my first friend when I moved here to Dallas. 19 years now, just about. So yeah. Yeah, it's been a long time. So, whew. So it's interesting. For some reason, I resist having the obligatory talk on specific days. I'm like, on Mother's Day, I don't want to talk about mothers because it just seems so, predictable. But the mother stuff came up this morning. So I just go with it because Spirit's leading me there, and that's where I go, and that's what I do. So it's interesting that I had to separate my relationship with my mother from my mother as woman and her mothering style. And once I got past that part, I thought, oh, okay, we can do this without me being in a weeping heap up here. But it's interesting. My mother was like everybody's mother. And she just showed up in a way that welcomed people in. And sometimes my siblings and I, it would set us, like it would make us uncomfortable sometimes, because I think when you're the child, you think of yourself as just so special to your mother, and this, and you're just that you're just this child of hers, and she doesn't see anything else. My mother saw all children as her mother, as her children, and so especially when I went away to college, it was not unusual for me to come home and somebody was living with us, and usually it was my room that was given away. And it's now their room, and I have to look for some place to sleep in the house. I'm like, who is this, Mom? Who? Like, you're always adopting somebody. And it was either somebody from church, it could be somebody she met in a store. And especially if it was a young woman who was pregnant and was either discarded by their family, was put out, or that wasn't supported by the father, or something like that, especially if they were pregnant, she was bringing them home. And she just had a way of, I think it was just her presence that invited people in, so that all those who needed mothering found my mother at some point. And she was either spending time with them after church in the back pew, and she's talking to them, and, she's giving them hugs, and she's talking to them. She might be writing stuff down. She's getting their information, because then she's going to be at their house, or they're coming to our house, or they're moving in, or something like that. And we would just wait for whenever she was done, and then we would go home, and we would just welcome this new person into our home. So I kind of knew that I didn't have that same gene that she had. I knew that early on, that I was probably in some other line that God was giving out gifts and things like that. I didn't get the mother gene, I don't think. Not like that, not to that degree. But I just watched her do that and be that, really. Because it's not something she advertised. Somehow, people just made their way to her, and she naturally felt like, this is for me to do. She always knew that this is for me to do. Because I'm always thinking, security-wise, who's this person you're bringing in the house? Can we trust them? What's going on? Where are they from? Who do they know? We need to think about this. And all my mother thought about was that they needed mothering in this moment now. And that's all that mattered to her. I don't know how many young women that she went into the birthing room with them to help them have their babies. She just loved the process of birth. If my mother could have had more children, she would have. There are 3 of us, and she had a miscarriage before and after each of us. The 3 of us, yeah. And that was very, very painful for her. Not just physically, but emotionally, it was very painful for her. And I think she would have filled the house with children if she could have. And so she did in other ways, that she just adopted people. And she loved the birthing process. She only has one grandchild, so at some point I did sit down with her and I asked her if she was disappointed that I didn't want children, because I knew very early in life that I didn't want to have my own children. And I think it was because I saw her pause for a minute and she said, but I just want you to do what you need to do in life. If you don't want children, then you should not have children. And I said, well, don't worry. I'm not going there at all. But she knew that she was definitely a mother. And she was very, very soft and inviting, accepting. And I watched people who had come out of very difficult situations become peaceful in her presence. Know that they were loved, just like that reading that I did. They knew that they were beloved and loved with her. And that was important. I didn't appreciate that as a young person, but I can appreciate it now. I knew that she had that gift. She was a counterpoint to my father, who was loud and brash, and in the morning, it was if your bedroom door was closed, it felt like he kicked them open, and he would say, hit the floor, and he would yell it so that you were like startled into the morning. And he meant he wanted your feet to hit the floor, because if it was a weekend, we had chores to do, and you better get to it. Get to it, baby, get to it, because if any of this falls on your mother, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. My mother, in contrast, would come and she would take her finger and she would rub it on our cheek. And she would say, good morning, princess. Hi. You know, it's just like all sparkles in the morning then. So different from my father. So much quieter. In fact, even when my mother was angry, she didn't yell. Her voice got softer, which was terrifying. And sometimes if she was really, really angry, like her lips didn't even move. Like you heard stuff coming out of her mouth, but you didn't know how it was coming, but you knew not to mess with her. But she just got quieter. So there was a softness to her, but you knew what that soft meant. You knew when the soft was accepting and loving, and you knew when that quietness was about reproach, or there's something you should not have done. So it's interesting being an adult thinking of your mother. You know, when you get to the point where you've had enough struggle, when you've had enough challenges, especially challenges loving and being there for people that you love, it's easier to stand back and see her just as a person who's also struggling to love others and especially to love herself. I haven't given birth to anyone. I do have stepchildren, but I haven't given birth to anybody. But I do know what it's like to love and to be concerned for your child and know that you have no control and that there's nothing that you can do. And the only thing you can do in that moment is to love. And handle your fear, handle your concern, and live with that. And there's probably many a mother, even if she didn't know that song, Come Jesus Come, she was praying that prayer. Help me through this moment in being a mother. I know my mother prayed it, and she was probably looking at me when she prayed it, because I gave her a serious run for her money on many a day. But if we can just appraise these women, just as women, We know how hard it is to be in this world. Yesterday at our women's discussion group was just off the charts and was just wonderful. We talked about that even at our ages, some of us in our 40s, in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, how hard it is to hold your self-worth and to know who you are and stand in your power. Your mother was doing the same and probably was having a harder time because it was a different generation with different expectations, and they had far less choices than we have now. In fact, they had maybe one or two choices, if that, and they probably had to ask permission for that. So when I can step back from being Kim, the child, the daughter, and just be a woman appraising another woman, I have nothing but compassion for my mother. It allows me to drop every ounce of baggage I have with her, or used to have, because I've healed all of that. Thank God. Whew. I dragged that baggage for many a year, and then I laid it down. And sometimes I still feel her presence as mother, but most of the time I feel her presence as another woman who is deeply connected to me in ways I'm still trying to understand. All of us are complicated. All of us have so many facets to who we are. She did too, or does too. And I do know from watching my stepdaughters and my niece, who I am mothering now, because her mother is deceased, it doesn't matter how old they get. They're still your babies, and you're still concerned. And you still sometimes feel powerless in their lives. Because they're adults, or seemingly so. In moments, right? Isn't that true? I know how hard it is to let go. And there are times when I've been in tears with my stepdaughters and with my niece and saying, this is why I didn't want to do this. This is why I didn't want to do this. And man, this is hard. Man, this is hard. I can't imagine how I would have felt if I'd given birth to them. Do we need counselors to go through the, through the aisles? Motherhood is multifaceted. And it is everlasting, just like love. And it is always challenging, no matter how long we've been doing it, no matter how much help we have had. And I think it is more challenging depending on how much love we have for ourselves. Separating deed from doer. Separating things that our mothers did or did not do from the person that they are. And seeing them, just as we challenge ourselves to see ourselves as love, to see them as love. Not that the love that we gave each other, but the love that is God. And appreciating them for that. Appreciating that they came here to do the very work that we're doing, trying to figure it out as spiritual beings having a human experience. I think as women, we all have that moment when we realize we are our mothers. Yeah, is that feeling? Whew. Talk about come Jesus come, right? Whew, I am my mother. Yes, it's a horrifying moment in the beginning. You're like, oh gosh. But now that I'm in my mid-60s, there are moments where I have, oh yeah, I am my mother. Yeah, I am my mother. And there was so much beauty that she had. So much of her that was that gentle, gentle love that I needed in so many moments in my life. She was that. And in other moments, I know she was struggling just to be who she needed to be. And that's okay too. Because as an adult, I can take that in. I can hold that and hold it for me and hold it for her. And know that it was all good in the moment. It was all good in the moment, and it's good now. It's good now. So when you think of love, hopefully you're at that point where you can see your mother as that. And if you can't, that's okay. But I invite you to open the door and know that she too was on this earthly journey. She was trying to figure it out. She was trying to be love in the way that she knew how to love, which might have been really, really messed up. But that was her path. And I want to believe that by healing things now that we can heal the past. I want to believe that. I do want to believe that. Because if that's true, then I want to be as much love for my mother as I can in this moment, because I know that she was brokenhearted a lot of her life. She had deep, deep trauma from her family of origin. So if I can help heal that by being love in this moment, I want to be that. Just like that reading said, beloved, be love. Be love. And my prayer is that all that love will surround her wherever she is, out in the ethers, in the quantum field. Wherever she is, she might be standing right here, right now. So can you be love, not just for yourself, but for the one who participated in giving you life? You be love for her. And return to her everything she gave you and everything you wish you had gotten but did not get. It's all good. It's all good because God is love. And God was there for each of you in all of your moments together, no matter how you might have judged them. Our challenge, our work always is to be love. Be love, be love, be love. So when you're not sure what to do, the answer is be love. If you're not sure what to say, the answer is speak love. If you're not sure how to be with someone in silence, the answer is be still and be love. Here in this moment. The answer is always be love. Always, always, always. So on this Mother's Day, for those of you who are mothers, stepmothers, grandmothers, other mothers, bonus moms, know that we honor and we treasure you, your journey, your calling as mothers. We know it wasn't easy, and we know it never ends. And know that there is divine love that supports you always, always has, is right now, and always will. Always will. For love is eternal, and love is God, and you too are that love. Let's take this in a meditation. Take a breath, take a breath. And in this moment, yes. See your mother. See your face. And look at her with the eyes of love if you can, if you will. And it doesn't have to be your love for her, it can be the love of God. Open to her the love of God. And let her see you entirely. Let her see your heart in this moment. And just let yourself be in communion with her. As love. A communion of love. Knowing she had doubts and fears, that there was many a moment she questioned herself. Many a moment where she didn't know what to do. And grabbed on to the only thing she knew to do in the moment. But just crack open the door, if you will, to love and acceptance. And that in all of our moments where we thought something else should be happening here, that God was supplying all that you needed. That God, that is the unconditional love, was present in those moments, holding her and holding you. For those of you who are mothers, you too were held in each of your moments with your children. Through all your doubts and fears, the moments where you didn't know what to do, you felt helpless. Unconditional love was present, holding you and your children. And that you too were doing your best with everything you had in the moment. Unconditional love is what holds together the universe. We are it. We are it. We are love. Love that supplies all, sustains all, heals all, harmonizes all. Love that never dies, that never tires. We are that love. That is our essence. In the ocean, the sea that is love, we are a wave, an expression of that love. All that love is, we are. You don't have to earn it. There's nothing to learn. It is not transactional. It simply is. It simply is you. It simply is. Always and forever. Always and forever. So we breathe in love. Breathe in, inhale. Exhale, exhaling love, knowing that it is infinite, inexhaustible. Breathe it in, breathe it out. See it flowing through your body as you continue to breathe it in and breathe it out. Love now, love always, love only. And so it is, and so it shall be.